Hey YouTube, it's Stacy Greer with Sunshine Dog Training and Behavior, and I wanted to go over my Go to Your Mat Part 2 video. I've already done Part 1. It's on my YouTube channel called Go to Your Mat Part 1, and I covered the very beginning steps in teaching your dog to go to their mat for a dog that has never been taught that at all. Now remember, our end behavior is that I want to be able to just say one cue. And the cue will be go to your mat or get on your mat, whichever one you want. And when you say that, the dog, again, this is when they know the entire behavior chain. The dog goes to the mat, lays down, and stays there until it's released. My release word is free. You can use whatever release word you want. So what I want to do is show you how I can get her to do a down on the mat and start to build on duration on the mat. Now, I have worked on down and teaching her the down cue, and I did it on the mat that I'm using for the Go to Your Mat cue. So I'm sorry I cut that step out. Now I haven't done it extensively, but I have done it several times with her. So that is a beneficial step. So let's say your next step would be, and let's get Gracie out of her little crate, and we will start to video with our little subject here. Sorry, I didn't get set up. I'm hoping everyone likes how very raw my videos are. No editing involved. All right, little friend. Okay, good girl. All right, so she's in a pretty playful mood, so we'll see how she does. So this will be your next step, okay? We have done no mat training as far as the things that I did go over in the previous video. I have not done that at all since I made that video. So, so what I do is I get the dog, and she does not know the lie down cue, which for me is just down. But I have worked on it a few times with her, as you can see. She's quick. She's real quick. She's a very quick steady. So to do that, get the dog on the mat. She's making it look really easy because she's doing it. They won't often do it this easy. The way I teach it down, it may be outdated, but I get them in a sit position first. I do not ask for SIT. I just get them in the position, and then I lure. Yes, and as soon as those elbows hit and they stay down, I reward. Now, it doesn't always go that smoothly. Some dogs, their butt pops up and all that, but I'm not going to do that troubleshooting in this video right now because I'm not teaching it down in this video. So if you need help with that, I'll have to get a dog that doesn't know down and do a video with them, because I showed a video of me teaching her, because she definitely wasn't really fast with getting it. And the problem, I will go over this, just because as a side note, the problem with luring, whether you lure down or anything else, is that you can get what you see here. See how she's biting on my hands? She knows I usually have the food there to lure her. So you can have that be a problem because you lure with that food and they bite at the hand because they want it. So you want to quickly put in your hand cue and feed from the opposite hand so that they don't bite at this hand that you're luring with. You're making her nervous. Oh. Crazy. So now I have no lure, okay? She still nips a little at my hand, but my hand signals point to the ground. Well, now she's doing it. So I just ignore it and I reward with my left hand because I'm pointing with my right. So, and I mean, she's a little bitey anyway. She's a puppy, but I just ignore it. I do nothing. Over time, what happens is that goes away if you do it. Now, with little dogs, I start low. Okay, a lot of times I'll start all the way down on the ground because I want to lure them close to the ground. But I recommend that you don't stay this way, just in the same sense that you don't stay, you don't continually lure. You should lure about I don't know however many times it takes to get the dog to get the behavior. And then once they get the behavior, I only lure about 2 or 3 more times. And then I fade the lure out. And I do it one more time without the lure in my hand. And then I reward from the other hand, okay? So, and then eventually I go just to my knees like this. And then I go all the way standing. Because obviously you do not want to sit on the ground or go to your knees to always get your dog to lie down. But if you teach it that way, and that's the only way you teach it, the dog will always cue off of you sitting on the ground because you've done it so repetitively every time you do it. That will become part of the cue, which means they won't understand it unless you're on the ground. So, and the same with people that touch the ground when they get their dog to lie down. That means you're teaching the dog that touching the ground is the cue. So that means you have to always touch the ground. She's actually doing really well with this. This is actually the best she's done with down, to be honest with you. I haven't done it a lot with her, but like I said, she's actually a really quick little girl. Okay, I'm going to reset her. So now, once the dog knows down, I'm already on my next step because like I said, the end behavior here, I'm going to get away from the mat so that she won't go over there. The end behavior here is that I say go to your mat and I wait for a down. That's why I teach the down cue on the mat to the dog, because they start to learn that, oh my gosh, I get rewarded every time I go down on this mat. So then when we're doing the go to mat cue, their automatic muscle memory response is to go down because that's what we had worked on so much before that. So I hope that makes sense. So get on your mat, and plus I point to get on your mat, which is the same as down, free, which is the same as my down cue. Now this will also carry over, get on your mat, free. This will also carry over wherever you ask the dog to lie down. You can still point. It doesn't have to be on a mat. It can be anywhere. You just want to make sure you practice it in different locations, not just the mat, or your dog will only lay on the mat. But let me explain this outside of doing the behavior so that she can do it more reliably. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the mat, and notice I'm not really moving my body at this point. I don't want to move my body away from the mat right now. I'm going to work on duration a little bit. So I'm going to go over there, I'm going to point to it, and I'm going to ask her to go to her mat. And then I'm going to count in my head, like 1001, 1002. And then I say free. So I'm adding in my release cue, which I said was free. And then when she gets up, I toss the treat to the side, and she can release herself because I released her. So let me get her off the mat. Gracie, get on your mat. Okay, now look, I gave her 0 feedback. So I'll take this as a teaching moment. Good girl. Free. So some dogs are okay with giving no feedback, but I like to get on your mat. My dogs are outside distracting her. Don't worry about that. Good girl. Free. I like to give that verbal bridge, which I say good, or I say good girl. And that lets her know, hey, I approve of what you're doing. You're doing a fantastic job. If I give 0 feedback, notice how she was staring at me and then she barked at me? She was becoming a little confused. Like, why are we just standing here? Why is it so quiet? So some dogs, they don't know what to do, and so then they'll choose behaviors that may or may not be what we want. So Gracie, get on your mat. So I'll show you again with no feedback. See how she's becoming agitated? Gracie, get on your mat. Now with feedback. Good girl. That's a good girl. Free. See how she did it better, more reliably? She got that feedback, so she's like, I gotcha. Thanks for letting me know. Get on your mat. And I'm just doing a couple seconds right now. Good girl. Free. Now, the way I make the duration longer and longer, obviously you want more than 2 seconds to stay. Instead of going, oh, now I'm going to do 4 seconds, and then I'm going to do 6 seconds, and then I'm going to do 8 seconds. You don't want to just always go up, 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 up the ladder. Get on your mat. Good girl. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. Free. So I went 4 seconds then. So now I'm going to go back down. Get on your mat. Good girl. Free. And I did about 2 seconds. So you just make it varied. 4 here, 2 there, 6 here, 8 here, 10 here, oh, back down to 4. And you can make it real varied, and that way you can have I noticed that at least for me, it makes the dog have a much more reliable stay. So I don't like to just go up, up, up and make it so challenging all the time. So I do vary it up. I'm gonna go ahead and let her play. As you can see, she's already kind of telling me she's done with the training, which is fine. She's a puppy. I don't like doing long sessions. So we'll be done with that one. So we'll do more duration, and hopefully, I don't know if my face is showing on here. I can't see. Is my face showing? We'll do more duration next time, and longer duration, and showing how I can move my body away from the mat while she's doing a longer downstay. And if you have any questions, put some in the comments. All right, thanks for watching.